Okay, everybody, what's going on, everybody, man? Out there in Arsenal and Chelsea land, I haven't actually even put this stream on Twitter yet, so apologies for everybody. Let me do it now. Oh, my dear. Before I do that, let me say hello to Dave, our local Chelsea resident. How you doing, Dave?
No, good, all good. And if you can hear stuff in the background, it's fireworks. So I don't know why fireworks are going off. Or do I? What's it? Is it 5th November? Is that right?
Yeah, it's a bonfire night tonight. I can
geez.
hear the noise popping outside of the door, so it's crazy.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I'll try moving somewhere a bit quieter. But how's it going? Yeah, all good from my end. How's everything going with yourself?
Right, sorry, I've just got my headphones are just playing up just a little bit. So I'm just going to try and get them back in a minute. I don't know why my headphones is doing this. It's normally been plain sailing. So let's see at the moment. There we go. Right,
there you go.
I think I'm back in. Right, let's go. Okay, yeah, I think I'm back in play. Right, Dave, how you doing?
Oh, good, all good, all good. I've gone to a quieter room.
Right, I still can't hear you, so let me just check to see. Yeah, Dave.
Yeah, you can hear me.
Let me just get my settings done. Sorry about this, guys. It's quite clear that it's. Here we go.
Yep, can you hear?
Right, I can hear everything. I just can't hear you, Dave.
Can you not?
Let me do this. Yeah, I just can't hear you at the moment. So let me just quickly check to see if this is working. Yeah, so my headphones are working fine. So I just can't hear you. I was hearing you before. You might have to disconnect and then come back in.
I'll tell you what. Yeah. Let me do it now, quick.
Yeah, you might have to disconnect and come back in because I'm fine now. Sorry about this, guys. Little technical hitch, and we'll be with you guys in a second once we get everything working again, and then we can discuss Arsenal Chelsea. You'd expect a little bit of gremlins because this is this is what happens on bonfire night. Just a little bit of gremlins here. I'm just putting the stream on Twitter now. Chelsea preview, and then you guys can let me know what you think. Live. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now, Dave.
You can hear me. Cool, brilliant.
Yeah, I was just saying, just a typical gremlins for bonfire night. It's not surprising. It does happen.
No, that's fair enough.
Excellent. Right, guys. First of all, yeah, Dave, we were saying, how are you? How are you getting on?
No, good. All good. Just recovering from the last week's game.
Man.
Yeah, which was a bit hurtful, I'd say, but recovered well during midweek, so it is what it is.
Excellent. So we're going to start off now by obviously welcoming yourself and talking about how much of a blast of a game that this is going to be. We're going to see some changes in this game. We're going to see it's a little bit of an anomaly. We are dealing with a situation at the moment where Arsenal are going into this game coming off the back of a fantastic results of Chelsea. We know what happened last season. So I'm just working on my audio here. We know what happened last season, and we also are looking at a situation where everybody watched Arsenal play in the pre-season, and when they beat Chelsea 4-0 there, some people are saying, it's only pre-season. But I looked at it and I was like, no, I can actually really see something there, and that has followed through to the actual season. It's followed through with their form as it is, and what we're seeing now is they're building it up with Aubameyang saying I'm back and everything. Just give me your opinion on what you think of Aubameyang at the moment for Chelsea.
What do I think of Aubameyang? I think it's difficult to really assess
again. Can you guys hear him?
Can they hear?
Yeah, I think I can't hear you at the moment again. It seems to have gone out.
But can people in the chat hear me?
Yeah, I think I can hear you now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. No, that's fine. So you can
Right.
hear me.
So it looks
about
like, yeah, it looks like they can hear you in the chat. Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
No, brilliant. So in terms of Aubameyang, it's difficult to really assess him because one manager brought him in who's familiar with him, but now we've got Graham Potter, and it's difficult to assess what he wants from Aubameyang. There have been times where he's played up front. Then during midweek he played more towards the left, as a winger. So it's with Havertz kind of in that, if you want to call it like a false nine striker role. So it's difficult to really assess what Aubameyang can bring. But he's been okay. He hasn't set the world alight at Stamford Bridge. He's been, for somebody who's come on a free transfer. Obviously, he's on quite a bit of money. He's been okay, but I think much of our players have been all right. Nothing special really, and I think he's added more fuel to the fire with his comments pre-game about Arsenal, and I don't think it's a smart move, to be perfectly honest. He's just putting himself in that limelight now where he has to perform. So, did you catch all that?
Okay, so there's going to be a little bit of yeah, I did. There's going to be a little bit of delay. I seem to be on about a 3-second delay with you, so that's okay. Fine. So my question is, taking a look at Chelsea first. Let's take a look at Chelsea. So at the moment, obviously, both sides have been playing in Europe. Chelsea are through to the last stage of the Champions League, while Arsenal have advanced to the last 16 of the Europa League. The last game, as we know, what happened with Brighton, I think it was a bit of an anomaly. They were obviously up for the game and they were trying to stick their fingers up at Graham Potter, trying to give him a football lesson. But that doesn't change what's going on with Chelsea. I think they've got a ton of players. I spent $250 million in the transfer market. And what I've seen from them at the moment, I think they've had one defeat in their last 11 games. And I think before that it was Leeds, wasn't it? 3-0. So yeah, whatever's going on, they look really good. But the most important thing for me, Dave, is that they haven't lost. I think there's 12 games unbeaten at Stamford Bridge. And in fact, Arsenal are the last team to beat them there when they won 4-2 on the back end of last season when Eddie Nketiah got them 2 goals and got man of the match. So where are the team now in terms of their development? Is the team settled? Do you have a starting 11? Or is it just going to be a sort of merry-go-round carousel of players?
It's going to be a merry-go-round. It's not. There's nothing set at the moment because I think Potter, what he was trying to do was implement the system that he had at Brighton over to Chelsea, where he was playing both. I mean, in that Brighton game, he played Sterling and Pulisic as wing backs. Now, and they both got exposed because of the defensive work there. They got the touches up near the final third, where I imagine Potter wants them to play. But they just didn't. They can't do the defensive work. And when we're playing 3 at the back, when you've got someone like a Thiago Silva there, who great reader of the game, but can be slightly immobile, and you've got Cucurella, who's not naturally a centre half, you now have to start wondering, okay, this isn't going to work. So you're going to have to try and get yourself settled, and especially with the injuries towards Reece James now. And Chilwell during midweek, you're going to have to set up really. I think as a free centre halves, which you're hoping Koulibaly can start and is fit enough. You're hoping Silva can obviously continue playing at his age as well. And the amount of games that he's playing, it's ridiculous. And Trevor Chalobah's been quite impressive as well, to be fair, this season. And then we're relying on Aspi and Cucurella as wing backs, unless he wants to do this whole, Pulisic maybe going as a wing back or Sterling as a wing back again. But I don't think it works. So we're very. it's gonna take time for him to really understand the players. But I think when he does, he'll be fine. I think we'll get to where we need to get to, because he's an excellent tactical manager, and a great tactician. But I just don't. I don't think he really understands us at the moment. And to be perfectly honest, he's taken over from Tuchel, where they both really play similar systems and they play similar football, and it just doesn't. It's almost like you've gone from one manager who's got all the credentials to a manager who's up and coming, but they literally play the same way. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to take him even a little bit more time, and I think that's why Arsenal could be favourites here in this game.
Okay, brilliant. Remember, I'm on the 3-second delay after you, so when I don't see you talking, that's when I'll chime in. So overall, guys, for me, I think it is going to be a tough situation, because we've now got our situation into an unstoppable juggernaut into an immovable object. Chelsea have not lost at home in 12 games, and Arsenal at the moment now are doing really well as far as winning games. I believe that they have the best away record. They've only, all the drops they've pointed this season have been from away from home, and they've only allowed 4 goals in away matches, which, as I said, is the best in the league. When you consider that we're entering now the 13th game, so a third of the season. I can't believe the season's, everyone's talking about, it's still early in the season. Actually, a third of the games now have gone. So Arsenal are still on top with a third of the season gone, with the best away record and still top of the league. So it is going to be a real test. And for me, not many teams have been able to sort of crack what Arteta has been given, the intensity and everything. That's been a problem for a lot of teams. And what we have seen over the last, Southampton game, the Leeds game, is just them struggling to be clinical up front. And the goals haven't been coming. Obviously, that ended against Nottingham Forest, and they look like they're rolling again as far as the goals goes. But they do have that impeccable record of just being able to dominate the play, stop teams from playing. And I think that's where Arsenal's advantage is going to be. They're going to come in there looking with their chins up, knowing that they can dominate teams. They're going to be very aggressive. One thing I want to ask you in terms of injuries. So Wesley Fofana, what's the situation with him? What's the situation with Reece James? Kante, is Kante going to be fit? And also, I think it's Chukwuemeka, Ben Chilwell. Who's the other one? Kovic and Kepa. What's the injury situation with those players?
As far as I'm aware, Kepa was on crutches coming into the game. So he, as far as I'm aware, Mendy's going to be starting. Both wing backs, James and Chilwell, are out. I can't even pronounce Chukwuemeka. I can't even pronounce his name. But I'm pretty sure he wasn't a serious injury, but he should be on the bench. I can't pronounce his name for love nor money. So I think he's going to be on the bench, but he's not a main player anyway. I think for me, Kovacic is picking up these little knocks and little niggles now, where it's just a case of he's really key for us. He's probably our best midfielder. So in terms of driving the ball forward and really advancing play, and you see how exposed we get when we have Gallagher there. So I'm going to be eyeing up tomorrow's lineup, and hopefully Kovacic is playing. And I think Kante he's had another setback, and I think he's kind of, if he's going to play, it will be after Christmas, January time, if that. So, after the World Cup, should I say? So yeah, we have injuries. The wing backs are the issue at this moment in time, and hopefully Kovacic is can play. But yeah, we're getting a bit as many signings as we've made, or as much signings as we made. We're now looking a bit bare bones at the moment. So yeah, we just got to roll with it. But this gives us a nice opportunity to get a settled side, though. So
Excellent. So for me now, in terms of Arsenal, what we went through. Obviously, we had a painful week last week. We had Saka who took a knock. We had Tomiyasu. He came off injured. In the dying moments as well. I think it was the 93rd, 91st minute against Zurich. And so I wasn't really happy with that. He looks like he's going to miss the World Cup now after just being chosen for Japan. Smith Rowe, who's really been good, he scored in his last 2 games against Chelsea. He ain't going to be around. El Nene's back. Matt Turner's out of contention as well. So we do have a few players out. However, the good news is that Saka and Zinchenko are back in the squad. Zinchenko's a real worry because of that calf injury. So they are looking pretty strong. They will have a good team. My only issue is why on earth did you play Jesus for an hour against Zurich in what was a game that I think they would have been able to handle without him. So that's my only real issue there. But as far as injuries goes, Arsenal are looking pretty good. So what I'm going to do now, first of all, let me say hello to the guys in the chat. What's going on, Mr. Bungle? Big shout out to you. What's going on, G? Oh, G is giving me some bullshit about Aubameyang saying no in Uber, he'll probably get a hat-trick. I don't think he's actually playing that well for them at the moment. But, who knows? It's one game and he could switch it on. Cam saying, hey, Mr. Bungle, cool dude, what's going on? We've got some comments here. G saying, obviously, this won't be an easy fixture at all. We must play to win, try and get the 3 points. But to be honest, if I was offered 1 point at a game like this, considering the position we're in, I'd take it. We'd be tied with City. Yeah, and unfortunately, City won today. I don't know how they did. Every Arsenal fan was hanging on to the last minute, and then they got a really, really soft penalty. Awfully soft when you consider what we saw at Southampton with Jesus, where he got nothing. It was, I didn't even see the contact in the penalty, but hey, all we know, it doesn't matter what happens. If Man City get above Chelsea, this is it. Season's done. That's my opinion. The season's done. Cam says, what troubled us in the past, specifically against these top sides, is us being prone to mistakes due to pressure situations. Arteta and the management team have done a lot. I totally agree. That's a good comment. And for me, guys, the Liverpool game showed it. The Spurs game showed it. We just have confidence, and teams are not doing that well when we travel away from home. So, David, what can you talk us through your lineup? I've put a potential lineup up here. Talk me through where you think it'll be the actual starting lineup, or if you think players are going to switch out. Let us know what they're going to go with.
Yeah, I think he likes obviously the three at the back, and I think Chalobah and Silva, I think are there. Koulibaly potential. Obviously, he played I think about 65 minutes during midweek, so you're kind of hoping that he can now play with the Ben Chilwell injury. I think in terms of wing backs, Cucurella has to play on the left. He hasn't been in form, but now we'd be playing him in a position that he excels at, hopefully. Right wing back is interesting because I see you've put Loftus-Cheek there, and he can do a job there. So it'll be interesting to see if he goes with Loftus-Cheek or if he would go with someone like an Aspi there. But I know he trusts Loftus-Cheek, so it's and yeah, there's definitely something there where under Tuchel, he wanted Loftus-Cheek to play with right wing back. So yeah, potentially that. Midfield wise, I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult to call because we had this issue against United where we couldn't get out, and Arsenal will press us as well. So he may look at that game against United and go, right, if we're going to get pressured, we for some reason can't pass it out. And we got dominated by United for the first 30, 35 minutes until we went free midfield. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know if he's going to go with the three at the back or if he's going to look at that United game and look at the template and go, right, actually, I need three in midfield, and I'll push, obviously, to have Jorginho, Kovacic, and then maybe Mount just hovering around, and whether he goes to a four at the back. So it's a difficult one to call. I think if you're looking at key players for Chelsea, I think you have to be looking at Mount, who's been who works his socks off every single week, and he's been, he's been coming into a bit more form as of late. And I think Aubameyang's put a target on his back. You got to look at him now, and for us, for Chelsea fans, for him to do that, he's got to deliver the goods now. You can't be bigging yourself up, talking yourself up, throwing trash on your previous manager, saying he can't handle big players. He has to get to a point where he delivers in the big games. And yeah, this is going to be a difficult one for us. Arsenal, if they look at the United template of what happened in the first 35 minutes, and if we go over back three and we can't get out of our half like we did against United, you could be 1 or 2-0 up in the first half if you're more clinical than United was. So if I'm Arsenal, that's what I'm looking at. But who knows? It's going to be interesting to see what formation he goes with, and if he's going to be stubborn enough to go with, right, this is the way I'm playing 3-5. Like a more of a 3-4-3. So that's what I'm doing.
Excellent. So again, I'm coming in because I'm seeing the lips stop moving, so I can just jump in there. And I've never, funny enough, I haven't really had these problems with the headphones yet this season, so I'm probably going to have to look into that. So for me, guys, let's bring up Arsenal. Arsenal's potential team, it doesn't really change much. I think where the advantage is now is Zinchenko was always going to come back into this team regardless of what happened with Tomiyasu. And again, that's probably our strongest position in the whole team. When you look at goalkeeper, when you look at centre-back, when you look at midfield, when you look at strikers, wingers, Arsenal are fully loaded at left-back. They have 3 players in terms of Tierney, Tomiyasu, and Zinchenko who can all play there. And they also have Saka who can play there as well. So they've lost a player who they can easily deal with. Easily. So that's not going to be an issue for me. So they will go with Ramsdale, Ben White, who's been fantastic this season, Saliba, who I think has been an absolute revelation, Gabriel, who's actually improved over the last few games. He did have an accident in him, but he's started to shore up now, and he doesn't look as dodgy as he did before. Zinchenko, who in my opinion is the most intelligent footballer on the team. He just knows how to dictate the flow of a game, and we've missed that. We really have missed that in moments against Southampton and Leeds, where we started to lose our rag and composure. Not having him on the field has been a disadvantage for us. So I'm so glad that he's back. We've got Xhaka, who had a revelation this season. This is his best season easily in an Arsenal shirt. And believe me, he hasn't had much to improve on, but where he's come from is just leaps and bounds from previous seasons before. We've got Thomas Partey, who, in my opinion, and Bertram and Tony, he's the best player on the team. Without him, no matter what we do, we will struggle. He's the core that holds it all together. Saka, again, face of the franchise, he'll be in there. He's in real fine form at the moment. Again, 5 goals, 5 assists this season, just doing it from everywhere after a slow start. Odegaard, the captain, speaks volumes. The master conductor, the master creator. Martinelli, who some in Match of the Day are saying that he's a top 5 player in the Premier League. I won't agree with that as an Arsenal fan, but people on the outside are starting to bring this language into the game now that he could be potentially a top 5 player. Now, the reason why I'm saying he isn't is because I've seen Son, I've seen Sterling, I've seen Perez, I've seen all these Salah, I've seen all these players who play wide left or wide right score 20 goals in a season. The most I've seen Martinelli score is 10, and that was in a limited time in his first season. In his first season with us, I thought he was going to be another Erling Haaland, because they both scored 10 goals in their first season when they were 19. And then I said, yeah, this guy's going to be this guy's going to be the truth. In the second year, Haaland went on to score 37 goals. Martinelli got injured and literally wiped his whole season out. So now we're starting to see him come back into play. And you are seeing a proper baller now. He'll probably go to the World Cup and he'll probably light it up there. But I'm not sold on it. Maybe a top 10, and I'd be hard pushed to call them a top 10 player in the Premier League. But I would at least settle for that. Top 5, I don't agree with that. And then there's Jesus, who has been saving up his goals for Chelsea because it's now 7 games that he hasn't scored a goal in. So that's who I'm going to go with as far as my team sheet. So now we can talk about predictions. Right now, we'll look at predictions and see where we're going to go from them. I think it's going to be tough. It's either going to be 1-1 or it's probably going to be 2-1 to Arsenal. But I see it being really tight, and I see us matching up with, again, another really good outfit. It's just, unlike Man United, we really match up well against Chelsea. So we've got that with that going for us. The two problems are, this is a Chelsea that's on top of their game, A, and then B, we always struggle against Graham Potter. He is quality. He is, I mean, right now, him and Eddie Howe could probably be bringing the British managers back on top of the poll, where they haven't really been in the last 10 years. You know, no British manager has really been up the upper echelon of managers in Europe or in the Premier League. And these two have come up with their respective teams and shown that they can stand toe-to-toe with the big boys. So, you know, I said it to the guys in the forum this week, we could be seeing a renaissance of quality, upper-class British managers managing at the top of the game. So if Arteta does decide to go to Barcelona, yeah, I wouldn't even blink twice to get Eddie Howe in at Arsenal, because he looks like a quality manager. So I'm toying between 1-1 or 2-1, but Chelsea definitely have the quality to beat Arsenal. Dave, where would you go in terms of your prediction?
I think, if I'm being perfectly honest, with the form that Arsenal were in, most likely result is a draw. So it's either going to be a 1 for me, 1-1 or maybe a 2-2. I struggle to see Chelsea. What did I say? I just struggle to see Chelsea scoring. To be honest with you, we hold possession well, we move the ball well, but we can't put the ball in the back of the net on like more than, you know, 1 or 2 occasions. Like, yes, we played Wolves, we done well there, but we always come up, you know, short when it comes up to games like this, when it's just the United game. We probably could have scored a few in the second half. Didn't. I'm going to go 1-1 as well. I think that's going to be more of a fair reflection. And the Chelsea United game, then that's the template I'm going to take from this, because, you know, I think we're very similar quality to like United. I think this game on paper looks like a 1-1 game. I think there are going to be questions about the managers and what they do. So I think from Arteta's standpoint is, okay, is he going to maybe make the same mistakes that he did at Old Trafford, where you think to yourself, okay, should we just settle for a point or should we go for it? Could that scenario come back up? Or is it going to be a case where, for Potter, is he going to stick with his preferred formation? And like against United, if he doesn't change it quick enough, we could already be 1 or 2-0 down. So I think this is more of a game about the managers than it is about the players, because on the team sheets it looks like 1-1.
Excellent. So, guys, listen, that's it from me and Dave at the moment. Thanks for everybody to join us. I did promise Dave I'd keep it under half an hour, so I think we've achieved that. But yeah, so we're probably both saying it's going to be 1-1. I think I'll stick with that. I at the moment, yes, we scored 5 goals last week, but in the back of my mind, can we do that against a quality team now? So they have to show and prove that to me. But listen, thanks for joining us, Dave. I really do appreciate that, mate. And thanks for everybody for joining us. And we will be doing the live watch-along commentary for the game tomorrow. Dave, appreciate that, mate. See you guys later, man. And big up to everybody.
Cool. See you later.